Speakers shouldn't just speak because it's your entire... Speakers shouldn't just speak because it's your entire body that brings a speech to life. And I've got to say, out of all of the speaking myths and misinformation that's out there, body language is one of the biggest sources. So what we're going to do in this video is cut through those myths and help you identify what are good body language principles and what aren't. In my new book, The Speaker's Shanty, the main character Stephen meets a series of performers who teach him different key principles about public speaking. And one of these performers is the dancer Brandon Tomlinson. Brandon teaches Stephen all about how to express himself, understanding how movement comes into your performance as a speaker. You can learn about these lessons that Brandon shares in the book, but what I'm going to cover in this video are some additional lessons you can think about on top of this that are going to help you to move with purpose on stage. The first principle of moving with purpose is everything has to be authentic. What I see so often in the speaking space is I see so many carbon copies of other speakers. So I used to be in the motivational, inspirational speaking space. And you know how many people just try to be like Tony Robbins? They come up on stage and they've got the mega energy and the affirmations and come on, you've got to take action, you've got to do it. And it just reeks of inauthenticity. You see people where that is just not their personality and style coming through. And one of the biggest things that puts us off people is inauthenticity. When you feel that someone is being fake or not genuine with you, it doesn't matter the value of what they're saying, the value of their experience, their expertise. If you don't think they're a genuine person, you're not going to listen to them. So you've got to make sure that you aren't projecting that image when you're on stage. So everything that you do about body language, you've got to think about, is this how I naturally express myself when I'm in regular conversations with people? Now there is a certain level of amplification that you have to do. So when you're on stage, you're not just projecting energy to one person that you're sitting having coffee with, or a couple people who you're standing around in the kitchen at a party with. You have to project that energy onto dozens, hundreds, thousands of people. So you've got to dial up what you're doing. But this is just turning up the volume on the same song. It's not playing a different song. So if you are someone who is naturally cracking jokes and playing the fool and being a bit silly, great, bring that onto stage. But if that's not you, don't do it. If you're someone who's naturally very enthusiastic and passionate and high energy, fantastic, bring that onto stage. But not if that's not who you normally are. It's far more important that you are an amplified version of your authentic self than a dialed up version of someone that you're not. Everything that you do on stage has to be authentic, otherwise the audience sees through it and they won't love you for it. The second principle of moving with purpose is body language has to be holistic. And this is where so many of the myths and misinformation comes in that, oh, you can tell that someone's lying if they're looking up to the left or they're looking up to the right. It's so reductionist. If you stand doing an Amy Cuddy power pose, people perceive you as more confident. Body language isn't about this one thing equals this one thing. It's about this one thing provides evidence for this conclusion. But you don't just make a conclusion based on one piece of evidence, do you? You use multiple pieces of evidence to form what you think is the best conclusion. So, for example, something you hear a lot is, oh, somebody's got their arms crossed, then it means that they're skeptical, they're closed off. Well, it could do. They could also be cold. They could also have a sore back. So how do you know what's the reason? Well, you don't just look at the crossed arms, you look at the posture. So if they are really bent in and they've got crossed arms, well, now you're starting to think maybe they're more cold. If, as in cold temperature-wise, not cold as in emotionally. If they are kind of leaning back and they've got furrowed eyebrows, well, now you're thinking that's more likely to be skeptical. So it's not this one thing equals this thing, it's about the holistic picture. And this is what you need to think of on stage as well. When you're trying to convey an emotion, when you're expressing yourself, you've got to express yourself in multiple domains. It's not just, oh, if I do this one gesture, or I make this one facial expression, or I stand in this certain way, that creates the effect. No, it's about your whole body following through. It's the holistic picture. You've got to build up your case, build your evidence to project that image. So you've got to think about, well, how is everything that I'm doing aligning with this purpose? If I'm wanting to make people feel sad, or feeling empathy, or feeling the challenge and struggle of a story that I'm telling, what are all the different things that I have to do to bring people into that emotion? Or if I'm talking about vision and I'm talking about optimism, I'm talking about aspiration, what are all the things that I've got to do to take people on that emotional journey? What is the big picture? Body language is not the one thing, it's the whole thing. I've got one more body language principle to share with you, but just before I do, let me tell you a little bit more about this new book, The Speaker's Shanty. As I said, this is about a character called Stephen going on a journey of discovery, meeting these different performers who teach him these different public speaking principles. And we looked a little bit more at one of these principles in this video today, about moving with purpose. If you'd like to learn the principles that are contained within this book, there's a really easy thing to do. You can go to Amazon, find your preferred format, ebook, paperback, audiobook, it's all there. But I've actually got a better option for you. You see, you can go to Amazon right now, it's $10 plus maybe about a $5 shipping fee, $15 total, and you can get yourself a copy of the book. But I also have a deluxe edition of the book. And in this deluxe edition, you can get all formats of the book, ebook, paperbook, audiobook, and you also get an online course thrown in. You get my Superhero Speaker 5-week program. This is a 5-week session of live workshops that I did with students. You get all the recordings put in, and you get this online course added to the deluxe edition. To buy the course by itself is $147. You get it for free, included in your deluxe edition. So how much does the deluxe edition cost? It costs $15. So you can get just the book on Amazon for $15, or you can get all formats of the book plus the online course for the same price. No brainer, right? So if you want to get the deluxe edition of the book and find out about all these public speaking principles, there is a link in the video description below. Click that, get through, you'll get all the online stuff instantly, and a paperback version will get shipped to you as soon as humanly possible. Now, let's look at our third and final principle for how you can move with purpose. The third principle for how you move with purpose is to use your stage as a tool. This is something that I see so underutilized and underestimated in speaking, and not just in physical speaking, but actually in virtual speaking as well. So you can see that right now I have a stage. It's not a very big stage, it's just my office, but we can go forward on the stage, we can come closer for a little bit of intimacy. I can go a little bit further back and I can paint a little bit of a scene for you here. I can take you from the beginning of a process to the end of a process. I can anchor when I'm talking about negative things here and positive things over here. So even in this small space, I can use the stage as a tool. In a physical setting, even better, you have the whole stage, you have the whole room, you can go off the stage, you can go into the audience a little bit. So thinking about moving with purpose, show some movement within that. Body language is not just about what your body is doing on the place that you're standing, it's also about how you're extending your body across the stage that you have. It's a really simple thing to do, you're literally just walking around, but it's something that is underutilized in speaking, and it adds a really extra dynamic on top of all the other good stuff that you do. Your facial expressions, your gestures, your posture, all of that kind of stuff. If you want to move with purpose, use the full expanse of your stage to move with purpose. As I said at the beginning of this video, there are so many myths and misinformation out there about body language, and there isn't a lot of it that is prescriptive, but that moving around the stage is something where you can have a little bit more of this thing equals this thing, of using the stage like a timeline. If you start here in the past and you go forward into the present or future, you have created a timeline. So these are things that are a little bit more objective, a little bit more tangible. Take advantage of that. Take advantage of things that are just good principles that will just work. Moving with purpose, using your stage as a tool is one of those key things. Don't just rely on your words as a speaker. Authors only have their words. Podcasters only have their voice. But you as a speaker have your body as well. Take advantage of this extra dimension and this extra tool that you have to use when you're on stage.